question, Crew. So I listened to y'all, I saw the community poll, I saw the post, I saw the email questions. And so I am back with another Mixy mashup. So let's get right into it. So the Jasmine brand recently posted that British Williams, who was from Basketball Wives, and just recently got sentenced to 4 years in prison. Prison, honey. Former attorney is speaking out against her jail sentence. And more so, he's talking about the fact that he feels like British could have avoided what happened, but she didn't listen. Now, this attorney is an attorney in St. Louis, Missouri, where British resides. His name is Jason Corner. And he stated that one of the major reasons that he thinks British got this time is because she did not listen. And he is her former attorney. So he was her attorney initially, but then he removed himself from the case, or they ended up separating because they disagreed on the way he should go towards his legal strategy. Now, this attorney is an attorney that's also on TikTok. And so the Jasmine brand was pulling the information from his TikTok account. He has, as of me reporting this, removed the TikTok video about British. So it looked like people got into him or whatever, and he decided to remove it. Now, he does give out legal advice on TikTok in general. So it's not like the British event was something that he did to just boost ratings. He does do several different TikTok videos about legal advice and things that people can do. And he's also brought up a different clients on some of his videos when you check the page. However, sir, should we have really been talking about Miss British when it came down to her sentencing and what she should not have done? Before we get into that and give my opinion, let's hear what he had to say.
British Williams was sentenced to 4 years in prison yesterday in federal court in St. Louis. British Williams is a low-level reality TV star. She was on Basketball Wives and Couples Rehab or Therapy or something like that. A couple of low-level shows like that. I initially represented her on the case. Unfortunately, she was just one of those clients that she wouldn't listen. She wouldn't understand strategy that I was talking to her about for her case, just things that are best practices went on pretrial release in federal court and when any case is pending. And eventually, we chose to not continue the representation. I went my way and she went her way, and she hired another attorney out of Chicago. The 4-year sentence for her yesterday is getting absolutely hammered for a first offense white-collar case, especially in front of that judge. Great sentencing judge, great judge overall. But really, this is what happens when you don't listen to your lawyer, when you don't want to kind of change your ways, take responsibility when you have a case pending, especially in federal court. And I believe that that's nearly entirely where her 4-year sentence came from. It's just her ongoing attitude and behavior. And it's just a good lesson for people. But once you're in the system, it's a good idea to listen to your lawyer. That's what we're here.
I know this much, honey. The man is not at all a fan of Basketball Wives. Did he not call it low level several times? It said she had been on several low level shows. So anyway, I think the issue obviously comes in from most people, and that obviously came from people who saw this, which is why I think he removes his video, the attorney-client privilege situation, and specifically that should this man, who was a trusted attorney at the time, even though she then no longer needed his services and went to the attorney in Chicago, be speaking in general about the communications between him and British? You know, the attorney-client privilege applies when like any potential communication, any actual communication between the lawyer and their client, any sort of legal advice in any professional capacity, you know, ends up happening between the two. And even if he felt like he was giving her advice that she wasn't following, or that, you know, she was telling him things that really went against what the plan was, that he had to maybe get her lower sentence or to possibly get off without probation, which I don't think was going to happen because the feds are not playing by people who are out here stealing. But either way, should that information have been revealed? And I think that's why he ultimately removed the video, because revealing any sort of oral communication that should have remained private, and British, as the client, has an expectation that any communication she had with him is privileged, is why he removed the video. Now, we're not the only person that, you know, weighed in on this. Earlier today, Jennifer Williams, who of course was on Basketball Wives as well over the last couple of seasons, OG Jennifer, said that, you know, she was on the show with British, obviously at the time. She was on last season, and she talked to Angela Yee on the way up. And she was talking about how, you know, British was talking to the whole cast about her situation as she was going through it. And she does know that British talked to them briefly about this attorney. And she said that British just said that the guy wasn't really necessarily following what she felt like needed to be done, and maybe some things were not happening on his end. Now, she said allegedly, she said she doesn't really know this is what British was telling the girls, and that's why she decided to go with someone else. Now, we know that British has been, not necessarily telling everybody the truth, including, several people, because she committed fraud, honey. But Jennifer said that either way, it is very tacky for this man to sort of come out and say all the things that he said. It's not his place. It's not his business to let the public know something about her situation, and specifically that she didn't follow instructions. And, I completely agree. I just think it was inappropriate. I think it just really wavers on the idea that this woman was telling you this information in the sense that she thought it would be privileged with her old attorney. And that does not die simply because she is no longer now a client of his. It doesn't even die out necessarily if she was to pass away. So I do think he realized that. He took the video down, or people really got in that ass, and that's why he took the video down. But all of this is really unfortunate, because as the sentence is rolling out for British, what we are seeing is that I think she was advised badly through multiple people, including her own, maybe people that she was in cahoots with, because British is 33 years old, honey, and she literally has pled to 5 counts of misuse of social security number, 5 counts of bank fraud, 3 counts of making false statements to the IRS, and 3 counts of wire fraud. This woman has a child, and, she's going to be in jail for a significant period of that child's life. And the judge did say when he was sentencing her that part of the issue was that when British was indicted, so she hadn't even gone to court yet. They had just said, okay, these are the charges, and you are possibly going to go to jail, but you have a right to defend yourself. You're going to have a court case coming up. This is just the indictment by the grand jury. British continued to commit crimes while that was going on, and she was well aware of the fact that she was going to be on trial. So this is an unfortunate situation, and he isn't wrong about the fact that people do need to pay attention to their attorneys, especially if you got with this person because you think that they are good at what they do. He did say that the sentencing judge was a judge that is kind of fair, and I think that was kind of indicated when they actually read down the information that the judge has said that he was mostly disappointed, or she was mostly disappointed in the fact that British continued to commit the crime after the indictment. I think they were actually going to go lighter on her. And she could have gotten more years, but they were going to go lighter on her. But because she continues to commit crime while she was waiting to go to trial, that's what ultimately caused the heavier sentence. And I think that's what he was trying to get across. He just went around it the wrong way. And I'm glad he deleted the video, because it was completely unprofessional. Let's move on.
First of all, yes, we talk about the issues that are taking place during the season at that time. I have no problem addressing what's going on in my life. Now, when you say, why didn't I address it before? Well, season 7, that was not something that was going on in my life at that time. It was not relevant to my life. So I did not feel the need to walk in front of a camera.
Oh, come on, y'all. Come on. Robyn, you wanted Robyn to explain. You wanted her to answer. She's answering the question.
I'm answering the question. When my husband and I dealt with an issue 5 months prior to filming season 7, why would I walk into season 7 holding on to an issue that was no longer relevant to our relationship? It was not a problem. It was not an issue. My husband is not going to be thrown under the bus for a storyline that is not actually an issue at that moment. So I'm not going to
throw other husbands under the bus for storyline. Every season they will roast the husband. You get the camera to say it moment, not to.
I have confusion. That's not relevant anymore.
I find that interesting.
First of all, yes.
So as you can see, Robyn is still deflecting left and right, honey, and Karen and Candace were not letting her get away with it. If you heard them in the back end, Robyn tried to say the whole thing about being, not relevant to her life, that season 7 had ended, and Robyn didn't feel the need to bring up the situation because it happened after the season ended. And we know she was lying. It happened all during the season running, and Robyn chose to address it in her and Giselle's Tired podcast and try to charge people money for it. So Robyn went on to say that, she's not going to throw her husband under the bus, although Juan has ran you over the train tracks a million times about not wanting to be in this marriage, honey. It is the most forced, uncomfortable thing I have ever witnessed on television. I know y'all feel me. Drop down in the comments anybody who believes that Juan and Robyn are really in love. At this point, it is sad to see. But Robyn then proceeded to say that she's not going to throw her husband under the bus. It wasn't a relevant situation. They addressed it. And if you just watch the first episode of the new season, they addressed it in the most fake and formulaic way possible. They had this sit down on the couch and they go by piece every rumor that came out, and not just rumor, reality that came out. There were pictures involved, Robyn. We saw them. where they talked about Juan's firing and saying that, Juan says that he got fired because he didn't win enough games. Now, anybody who went to HBCU knows better than that. No offense to our MEAC, no offense to the conference at all, but basketball is not exactly, and sports in general are not exactly what pays the bills at Black colleges. So Juan, did nobody care about you in Copper State losing a couple of games? You got fired because of that lawsuit. Now, Juan's lawsuit was about the fact that he failed to report to the school about possible misconduct between a coach and a player and another student, I think, involved. And that was really the ultimate reason why he got fired. And many schools are just trying to not have a Joe Paterno situation happen. So they just avoid trying to keep somebody in staff that could have reported something that becomes national news. Robyn and Juan then talk about the whole incident with him and the lady he worked with about washing the laundry. I don't know how much I believe that story in the past. I think I kind of believe the fact about them washing laundry because a lot of times at HBCUs there are less staff, so people end up having to do something jobs. So what was y'all doing at that nail salon? You have to do multiple jobs sometimes at that nail salon, and you get a mani-pedi with your coworker was not a part of the deal. And so Juan is like, yes, she's beautiful. We can hang out and be platonic. I don't know why they made a big deal about that. Then Juan goes on to try to again explain what was the crazy part and the part that Robyn tried to explain on her and Giselle's Tired podcast about how, Juan got in touch with this girl and she said she needed a place to stay and Juan was trying to help her out. So he had to meet her at a hotel. And then she had a receipt of her and Juan on a hotel. It was just so ridiculous to watch them go point by point to try to address all the issues, to try to narrow it down for us and try to clear the air before the rest of the season so they don't have to talk about it again. And it just shows how much Robyn and him deflect. And the fact that Robyn has been a nosy busybody in everybody else's mess, from Karen to Candace to Monique, and been all up and through their marriage and asked questions and been Giselle's sidekick through a lot of the drama that's occurred on this show, especially with Giselle. It's amazing to me that now she wants to act like she doesn't have to share her life. I honestly don't even know why Bravo keeps her employed. Robyn is and will ever be a friend to the show. She really is the Malika to Khloe Kardashian in terms of her and Giselle. And I'm really not sure why she is a regular. We do need somebody who's going to share their life, whose life is more interesting than Robyn, who is more interesting than Robyn in them hats. So I don't understand why they keep her on the show, especially because she does not share her life in the exact same way. And the fact that she got away with that BS is beyond me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about the whole British Williams situation. Should her attorney have said anything about this situation, whether he was sharing it as an example on TikTok or not? Are Robyn and Juan real to you? Is Robyn getting away with something that other housewives couldn't in terms of sharing their lives? Let me know that in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.